Morning, peeps. I'm back with a Sunday review because it's been another very interesting day of FPL, hasn't it? And this is the first chance I've had to do anything this week because I've been playing in a chess tournament all weekend. Wasn't fantastic. I won 3 games and lost two. And in FPL terms, I think my games can be summed up as conceding two late goals in injury time because I was playing two good games, got short of time, only seconds to make each move, and my position fell apart. I've been up all night watching the Palace City Cup final, so it's not really a surprise. Do you know what I mean? Self inflicted, peeps. But we shall move. I played well, but ultimately, like I said, conceded late in stoppage time to a very unfortunate goal. Own goal, we shall say. Anyway, today, very mixed bag. The game week was looking good, peeps. It was looking good, but there's always something that FPL does to throw you a curveball, isn't there? Every single time. So I'm at 40k at the moment, so I've got a slight green arrow. Bowen came good. Now, Forest beat West Ham 2-1. Morgan gives White yet again, who's turned into a good pick. Elanga with an assist, but Bowen scored a great goal. Every single week since I've had him, 8 or 9 points or 10 points or whatever. And he just keeps ticking along. And he is a bit of a relative differential still, Bowen. So he did really well. Buemo, who a lot of people captained, missed a penalty, but did manage to score a goal. Got exactly the same captain points as Watkins. All the Watkins, Buemo stress and working out who to captain, they both ended up on the same points. So not much drama there. Visser actually came very good with 10 points. Most people do own Visser, I think. Very popular choice last week, although people were choosing between Visser, Cunha and Wood, weren't they? Wood blanked again today. Oh, not again, but he did blank today. I took Wood out for Watkins rather than taking Isaac out. And in the other big news of the day, Isaac didn't even play. So he went from needing an operation in the summer to being totally stuffed. We don't know what his state is for next week, I think. But I'm still happy I took out Wood instead of Isaac because, like I said, Wood blanked and I get Sarr off the bench. So you never know. And it does give me an extra player for the game on Wednesday or whenever it is. Now, bad news. The curveball that FPL's just thrown me, Saliba came off at half time. He was leading in the bonus points, I think. It was looking good. It was 0-0. Newcastle don't have Isaac. Come out for the second half and suddenly Saliba's not there. And to make it worse, I also own Kirior, who is sitting there last on my bench and now has the bonus points that Saliba probably would have had. So very annoying. Extremely annoying, and just one of those FPL things that happens. And it doesn't sound a lot, but 7 points difference from having the wrong one. I mean, why didn't Kirill get a rest instead? Probably made the difference between 30k and 40k. I mean, if you look at this, I'm only, what? Where am I, peeps? I don't know. I'm a few points off. I'm only 9 points ahead of 50k, which is a worry. Big worry. I don't want to finish outside the top 50k. So, yesterday, Palmer blanked. Captainers were shocked. They were shocked that a player that has only scored one goal in 14 matches didn't return for them. And they're calling it variance. Well, I'm calling it, peeps. I'm calling it as business as usual. What's the definition of whatever it is? Doing the same thing and getting the same result. Keep doing the same thing. And that's Palmer. Blank, 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 blank. You know, he got a penalty in like injury time, a bit like my chest loss. You know, he got a late penalty and won the game, but that's it in like 14 matches. Do you know what I mean? And are people going to make the same mistake next week with Saka? Might I even do it? You know, I mean, recently we've all been buying the expensive players like De Bruyne, Haaland, even Salah's been blanking, Palmer. None of them have been getting points. It's the likes of Bowen that have been getting the points. Yet we always flock to the most expensive players, even though they haven't done anything for ages. Bring them in and make them captain. Are people going to do that with Saka next week? We shall see. Anyway, what now? What now, peeps? So that's Wan-Bissaka. I told you, peeps. If I started him, he'd do nothing. I played him twice. Once for 0 points when he didn't play against Southampton, and today 1 point. 2 weeks I benched him, double figures both weeks. Ridiculous. Right, so I do have Guardiola as my assistant manager, and we're going to go and have a look at the content league in a minute. I'm pretty happy with this week, to be fair, but that Saliba Kirill thing has put a bit of a dampener on it. So I really am hoping Newcastle can score a goal in the next 15 minutes. Right, now this is a content creator league, and we've got lots of dramas happened here, peeps. Lots of dramas. So we'll look at the captains first. Wag captain Palmer, Harry Watkins, Mark Palmer, Bakar Palmer, me Watkins, late riser Watkins, Fabio Buemo, Az Watkins, Joe Watkins, and Andy Palmer. So transfers. Wag didn't make any. Harry Isaac to Watkins, Mark Isaac to Watkins, Bakar Eze to Palmer, myself Wood to Watkins, late riser Mateta to Watkins, and Sarr to Enzo. Fabio changed his assistant manager. We'll talk about that in a minute. He moved from Guardiola to Potter. And Sarr to Bowen. As Isaac to Watkins, Sarr to Rogers, Joe Mateta to Watkins, and Andy Sarr to Enzo, and Eza to Palmer. Interesting that both Andy and his twin, or one of his twins, who else got Enzo in? Somebody got Enzo in. Oh, it was actually late riser, so it wasn't his twin. I thought it might have been Bakar. So let's have a look. So Wag is absolutely smashing it out the park this week, which was last week, and is already on 72 points, despite Palmer blanking, who was her captain. But she only has, this is a thing, look, Kirill and Raya, and there's me with Saliba, and he's bloody off at half time. Makes such a, come on Newcastle. Oh, over the bar. It's making me such, honestly, look, 16 points for the Arsenal defenders versus my one. Why didn't that little prick Kirill come off at half time? God, look at the points they've got. How come Raya's got 8? Newcastle haven't hardly had a shot. So Williams is on 4. How the hell did he manage that? Conser 15. Colwell 6. So she had the wrong Chelsea defender, but he's still got 6 points. So she's had a very good defence. Bowen, Rogers, Enzo, Visser, and Kirill. So though she's only got one left, that's a pretty good score, isn't it? 72. She didn't even make a transfer. So Wag's doing well, up to 65k. Harry 51, he's next. Has a lot more players left though. Look at this. Guardiola, Munoz, Salah, De Bruyne, Sarr all to go. I've got Sarr too now, which is good. Now that Isaac plays. So yeah, I mean he could be on for a good score. Look, he's benched Milenkovic last on his bench. Another one with Raya. This Arsenal clean sheet is going to really hurt me. Really hurt me. God, so annoying. So annoying, especially when you put one of them in. Right, then Mark on 48. Oh, this is annoying me going through these teams. Raya with 8. Guardiola, Diaz and Haaland still to go. Captain Palmer. Sade did nothing, did he? He would have got an assist as well. If Boimo had scored that penalty, Sade would have got an assist. So not many people have actually captained Boimo here, though. Bakar. Ah, thank God for that. Thank God for that. My old mate Bakar. At least he's only... he's got Saliba as well. I'm not the only one suffering. Jesus, almost looks like my team, this one. Except he's got Konsa and Evan Nielsen. Bench Kirill like myself. Benched Isaac as well. He could actually, if Sarr doesn't play, he could actually get Kirill off the bench. And I don't know, there's a chance Sarr doesn't play, isn't there? You'd think he'd get some minutes. You'd think they'd want to... I mean, the thing with Palace is it's their last home game of the season. So, despite the fact they've just won they're going to want to come out, aren't they, and show off. That's my feeling on it. I mean, they're going to be, they won't be hungover by then. I mean, they're not having any training for a couple of days. But I'd expect the first team to start actually, because they're going to want to be out there, aren't they, soaking it up. They're not going to want to be sat on the bench. So then me on the same points as all on pretty much the same points here. Look, everybody. So there's my team. We've already seen that. Saliba. I've only got 2. Oh, I've got 3 left now because I'm going to have Sarr, Guardiola, and Salah. Late riser. What's he done? Oh, he triple captain Watkins. So he played his triple captain. I guess you're not happy, are you, with 5 for your triple captain, but it's better than nothing, I guess. Could have been worse, couldn't it? He could have done it on Palmer if he had him. He doesn't. Rare. Livramento is playing for him. Maybe he came off the bench for Isaac. Still 1-0 and not many minutes left, peeps. Not many minutes left. Kirill on the bench. At least I'm not the only one who benched Kirill. Now Fabio's on 44. And do you remember I went on FPL Review the other day and it recommended for my move, it said that I should take out Guardiola and replace him with Harry Potter. And I thought that was incredible. I thought that was absolutely ridiculous to take out the assistant manager of Pep for a transfer and put it on a manager who was playing against a team that 100% needed to win. To put it on West Ham when they're playing that Forest team, I thought was absolutely ridiculous. And West Ham lost. So he got 1 point. 1 point from Harry Potter. That's all he got. And it cost him a transfer to do it. It cost him a transfer. And I suspect that was purely driven by FPL Review or whatever algorithm that he's using. I know people got lucky early in the season. I keep banging on about this, but people have got an unrealistic view of this chip based on what happened this season because so many people used it on Glasner early in the season and they won. And they're thinking, that's the way to go, table bonus. But Crystal Palace were only 30% chance to win that match. And they did win it. Great. But 2 out of 3 times they wouldn't win it, and it would be a fail. And this is what's happened with table bonus are risky, and that's what's happened. So he's got 1 point from Harry Potter, and now I guess he can use him next week because they've got Ipswich, but that won't be table bonus. But 1 point and using a transfer to do it, big risk, big risk. Risks are all very well when they pay off, but when they don't, not so good. Blimmin' rare, or at least he had Saliba as well. Right, so Munoz, Guard, he's got a lot left, hasn't he? Look, Evan Nielsen, Munoz, Guardiola, Eza, Salah. So these green ranks you might have are not safe at the moment because so many people have a lot to play. So Az has taken a hit. Is anyone up there? No. The ones that taken a hit are actually doing worse this week. So Az on -4. Rare. Why is everyone playing rare this week? Shard over Sheep is in the team. Wood. Let's have a look. Joe, let's have a look. 40 points. He's having a terrible end to the season, Joe. Absolutely terrible. Nothing's gone right for him. He's another like myself with Saliba. And Henderson 0. He hasn't played yet, though, has he? So still a good bunch of players. Is De Bruyne going to play? Is De Bruyne going to play? I'll tell you something about De Bruyne. A bit like Palmer. De Bruyne has played in like the last 8 matches or whatever. But he's been shit. I mean, people wax on lyrical about him. But he's done nothing, basically. Done nothing. He's well past his prime. As for Haaland, City's best spell this season, in fact, our only decent spell this season, started after Haaland got injured. Before Haaland was injured, City were absolute crap. And Haaland, I'm convinced, Haaland makes City a worse team. When Rodri's out, at least. With Rodri out, they cannot afford a passenger. And Haaland's just a passenger. And he's done nothing. Absolutely nothing. You look at his touches and his overall contribution, very, very poor. And when he's not scoring goals, it's just ridiculous. He's come back, they've lost to Palace, and they've drawn 0-0 with Southampton. So we haven't scored a single goal in the last 2 matches since Haaland came back. What does that tell you? Do you know what I mean? That people still flock to these players. I'm probably jinxing it now, and De Bruyne get a hat-trick. But, I'd be surprised if he plays, to be honest. If I'd had De Bruyne, I would have switched into Palmer, which admittedly wouldn't have worked out any better. What's happened here? Goalie yet down injured. Is it rare? Clutching his knee. Pity the prick didn't do it in the first half. Newcastle going to score. You watch. He'll come off and then Newcastle will score and he'll keep his clean sheet. Is that the Newcastle keeper? Or the Arsenal keeper? I think it's the Arsenal one. Anyway. So, same old same. Oh, he's got Milenkovic. Joe's got Milenkovic at least. So he's got 8 points for him. But having a terrible end to the season. Andy, let's talk FPL. Coming for a lot of stick. A lot of stick he got, peeps. And he's only on 31 when you take into account the hit. But, fair enough. He took a gamble. He took a gamble. And why not? Do you know what I mean? Why not? So he took a -4. He went big on Chelsea. He got Enzo in for Sarr and Palmer in for Eza and captained him. I mean, I don't think I would have done that, but he didn't start rare. I don't think I would have done that, but he did it. No, I definitely wouldn't. No, actually, it was shit. Sorry, I've changed my mind because I've just realised it was from -4. So no, that's no good, is it? Enzo and Palmer for a -4. I mean, I get he wanted to get his Palace players out, but he could have just benched one of them, couldn't he? But he's paid the price anyway because he's only got 31 points this week. I expect Review told him to do it. Sounds like a Review pick. We're very high on Palmer. They're still very high on Palmer. Review. Now Chelsea, now Palace. Very, very important game. Very important game next week. And you have to say, I think it's going to be a very low scoring game. Chelsea versus Forest. I mean, you look at the table. Newcastle are, oh, it nearly scored. Newcastle are losing. Look at this. Newcastle 66, Chelsea 66, Villa 66, City 65, and Forest 65. So if City win against Bournemouth, not a given by any means, but if they do win, they go above Newcastle. If Newcastle lose against Everton next week, they're going to be out of the Champions League, it looks like, because if one of Forest or Chelsea win and Villa win, Newcastle will be out should they lose to Everton next week. And that Chelsea Forest game is going to be an extremely nervy game, extremely nervy. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's 1-0 or even 0-0. Neither of them want to draw, but there is a chance it could end up a draw because, likewise, neither of them are going to want to lose. They're not going to hand it to the other team. So it's going to be very, very tight. And I think we've seen with these games, Chelsea United was very nervy. Even Villa and Tottenham, Villa were pretty nervy as well, weren't they? And that Newcastle match, that's not going to be easy against Everton, especially if Isaac's out. I mean, we don't know if he is or not. But, if they'd gone into that with a result today, they'd have been a lot more relaxed and you'd fancy them to put some goals on. But now, I think all bets are off for that match. So we'll have a quick look at what to do in light of all this. Let's have a look. Plan. I'm very worried now about my defence. Very worried. I don't know if Saliba came off for a bit of a rest because he has had a lot of football, but then again, so's Kyrgios. So I don't know why Saliba came off. But it worries me in the fact that, he's going to want to give this Italian bloke another game next week, isn't he? Because he's hardly played all season. And the question is, who's it going to be for? Is Saliba going to be rested again? Or is Kyrgios going to get a rest? Either's a nightmare for me. And they're playing Southampton. If I put Kyrgios in, there's a very good chance it's his turn to have a game off next week. So, tricky. So I'm very tempted to just get rid of my Arsenal defenders and play that back line instead. It seems criminal, doesn't it, when Arsenal got Southampton. But can we trust? I think we're going to hear this a lot this week. Can we trust our Arsenal defenders to start? I don't think we can. I don't think we can. Unless we hear that Saliba was injured. But even if he was, we're not going to. Yeah, it's tricky. Very tricky. So I've got Wan-Bissaka, Livramento and Guardiola. You'd think the Newcastle match would be low scoring. You'd think they'd have a chance. What's happening here? Is there a VAR check? Come on, Newcastle, get a penalty. Breathe, breathe. Looks like there's a VAR check. Hang on, peeps. Let me get to, no, it's finished. Oh, for fuck's, I'm on dial up on my TV. There was no penalty. Oh, Kirill got a yellow card in the 98th minute. Tra la la. It's only little peeps, but it makes a big difference. Let's see if he's lost his bonus points. Let's see if he's lost his bonus points. God, I hope he has, the little prick. Where is he? Let's update. Might not be. It might be too early. Might be too early to oh shit, to have gone through yet. He's still on 8 here, but he won't be on 8 because he's just been booked. I was probably going to take his bonus points away, you know. Probably going to take his bonus points away. So we shall carry on talking about what we're carrying on talking about, which was, where's it gone? Right, so Bowen away at Ipswich. Bowen still being ignored by a lot of people. Although I think Fabio brought him in this week, didn't he? And away at Ipswich. Ipswich haven't scored for weeks, which is why I'm putting Wan-Bissaka in. But of course they will against West Ham. Bowen's superb form. Buemo against Wolves. I'm not going to get rid of him for that. Or Visser. Villa need another win. No way Rodgers is going anywhere. Salah, final home game of the season, Palace on the beach. No way he's going anywhere. In fact, he is very much a potential captain. We'll see how he does today or tomorrow, whenever it is. Isaac came to Everton. We don't know what state Isaac's in. Visser away at Wolves and Watkins against Man United, who won't be my captain. We'll say it's Salah for now, but I might change it to Bowen. Now, looking at potential transfers, there's an obvious one there. If Visser's not fit, if Isaac's not fit, Isaac out to someone like Evan Nielsen, I suspect. Bournemouth at home to Leicester. Leicester now, they've had their Vardy party. Season over for Leicester. Evan Nielsen makes a lot of sense. In terms of strikers, there's not a lot here. I mean, Havertz is back, but I don't think you're going to go there, are you, really? Yeah, nobody, really. I suspect Evan Nielsen, in terms of a striker, is a no-brainer transfer. Of course, it is Saka to consider. Now, a lot of people, like myself, do not have Saka, but he's blanked again. He didn't look fantastic. And, you know, is it just repeating the same mistake of bringing in an expensive player just because they've got a history of good scores, but currently are not getting many points? Personally, it would be for a hit. I mean, I could forget about Evan Nielsen, buy someone cheap. You know, I could take out Sarr, get Saka, take out Isaac, get a cheap striker, anybody, bench them and play Saka. That's a -4. I could do that. But is Saka going to outscore Evan Nielsen by more than 4 points? I doubt it, to be honest. I doubt it. So I don't think it's optimal. If everyone did it, and made him captain, I'd probably join the throng just because I don't want to finish outside the top 50k. But I don't think Saka's going to be a huge captain choice this week, to be honest. I think he's going to be a differential now, purely for the fact that he is blanking and people are seeing that just bringing in these highly priced players isn't working as a strategy, is it? Palmer, De Bruyne, Haaland. It's just not working, just not working. People are hoping rather than thinking with their heads and not taking enough account of current form. And Saka's hasn't been exactly fantastic, has it? Although it is Southampton, so you never know. But again, the fact that it's Southampton and Arsenal have pretty much now, I think, secured second place, haven't they? Have they secured second place? I think they have. So if they secured, yes, they have. So they've secured second place. So why not give Nweri a nice run out? Give the fringe players a run out, which is why I am not too hot now. And it's an away game, so it's not like it's a final home game of the season. All bets are off. You know, he might reward some of his squad players with a game. So I think I'm going to avoid Arsenal. I know it sounds stupid when they're playing Southampton, but defensively, I'm going to have to ignore them because it's too risky now. If you've got Raya, you're going to play him. But I'm happy playing Martinez. You know, Villa need to win. United have been pretty toothless. I mean, it's going to be just after their cup final as well. So, you know, I think I'll just get Evan Nielsen in for Isaac. Or even if Isaac's fit and we hear that he's fit, I could keep Isaac and in which case I don't know where. I don't know where I would even use a last transfer because my team is looking pretty good for next week. So that's about it, peeps. I'll tell you what, if you saw my walking video the other day, when I was going around giving clues about FPL players, I've decided to make that a regular feature. Every week, I'll trial it this next week, and then I'll probably carry it on next season. I'm going to do a looking for clues video where I'll be walking around and I'll be giving you clues about players I think are going to have a good game week. Now, a lot of you in that video cottoned on to the Vardy clue with my little fox that I had in the car there. And so I'm going to be doing that every week. So I'm already thinking now about clues for next week. And I think I've thought of a couple of clues. It's going to be kind of interactive. You're going to have to watch the video and I'll put in the comments what the clues were and see, you know, you have to try and work them out and see who can get all the clues right. So that's what we're going to do. But it's not like a quiz, but kind of is like, you know, there's going to be clues and answers and you have to study the video to all the way to the end, peeps. And don't forget to smash that like button. And I'll talk to you all later. So like and subscribe and I'll talk to you all later, peeps, anyway. So cheers for now.